This is our in-depth review of the MOBAPAD M6 Gemini. Let's talk about it. Welcome to 128KB, my name's Andy, and if you're new to the channel, go down there, smash that like and subscribe button, and share this video around if you think it's going to help someone, because, you know, it helps us out a lot. So I'm going to say right off the bat that yes, this is our full-blown in-depth review. We did a first look a little while ago, and now I've had some time to go over everything and really give it a go. This is the full-blown review. However, as I mentioned in the first look video, we did get sent two. We got sent two of these, and we did get sent these for free. However, I'm under no obligation to sway my opinion, so I'm going to be 100% honest. as always on this channel. What are you talking about, Andy? We're always honest. But, you know, I just want to reassure you. But because we got sent two, we're going to give one away. So we will be giving away the black ones. Now, I have had a sneak peek at them, but I've not actually used these ones, so I've just opened them up, made sure everything's all there. But they are effectively brand new, unused. So one of you lucky lot is gonna win this pair of MOBAPAD M6 Gemini Joy-Con alternatives. So what you need to do is watch the rest of this video and I'll tell you all about the giveaway at the end of this video. So let's start with a features overview. Let's just get this out of the way quickly and then we'll dive into things a little bit more in depth. So we've got mechanical switches, we've got ALPS joysticks, we've got a D-pad, we've got 6-axis gyro motion controls, we've got 4 rumble settings, we've got macro abilities with a macro button on the back, we've got turbo, and there are faceplates that are interchangeable as well. So let's jump straight in with the design. So the design is very reminiscent of the Hori SplitPad Pros. Now, I might do a separate video just about them compared, so like a comparison between the Hori SplitPad Pros and these, just because I think there's enough to say to warrant its own video. I want to focus this video on just reviewing these, but in terms of size, these are much larger than, say, like the normal Joy-Cons or even the Binbok transparent slim Joy-Cons that we reviewed before. These are much larger, so these are going to be way better for people with larger hands, and for those that want the sort of Hori SplitPad Pro feel but with the extra sort of abilities like the rumble, the gyro, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so design wise, I really like them. They come in white or black. Obviously we've been testing the white pair and we're giving away the black pair, but they do come with these awesome like face plates that just come off. Now the white pair comes with a pair of black face plates and the reverse for the black pair, so you get white face plates, and they're really easy to use. They're just magnetic, they sit on there great, they don't move at all. I was worried because they're like replaceable, I was worried there'd be movement and it would be a bit janky. That's not the case at all. Once they're on, it's as if they're just made solidly like that, which I really, really like. And the best thing about those faceplates, you could actually take them off, you could hydro dip them, you could paint them yourselves, you could spray paint them, you could do all sorts of stuff to customize it. And you've got 2 sets of plates, so you can have your favorite ones normal, let's say, and use the spare ones to like doodle on or whatever you want to do, which is quite cool. But yeah, the design wise, they're super ergonomic. They fit your hands lovely, and I think I'm quite a good person to test this on because I've got medium-sized hands, so I'm not got like super small hands, but I've not got huge hands either. So I'm kind of like middle of the road hand size, and they fit perfect for me. So I would definitely say those with bigger hands will like these. Those with smaller hands may struggle a little bit, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be that bad because of the way that the controllers like flare out, that there's enough grip support and thumb angle there for even smaller hands to use these. Christina's got baby hands and even she could use these, you know, so I think that's absolutely fine. But design wise, they're very ergonomic. They fit in your hands lovely. I really like on the back, there's this sort of like textured feel on the back where the like plastic is kind of molded with little tiny bumps all over it to give it that extra grip, which for instance, the Hori SplitPad Pros do not, nor do the Binboks either that we've looked at. So there is that sort of nice feel there, which just gives it a bit of extra grip. But the way that they're molded, they're way more ergonomic than other Joy-Con replacements that I've tried. And yeah, I don't know, they just fit in your hand really nicely. I just kind of like that. In terms of design again, because they're a lot bigger, they're very similar to those Hori split pads where it's got the step off so that when you sort of lay it flat on a table, it sort of doesn't wobble around, it's kind of like level. So you do have these sort of like humps on the back edge there. So, you know, it's an aesthetical thing. Like, you don't notice it when you're using it, but you know, it doesn't look the nicest, but at least it's practical, right? The biggest thing is there is a step off of the screen, so there's a noticeable dip down to the screen, so you know there is a bit of a gap there, but realistically that's not a big issue for me. I like the design. I think it's quite funky looking. It's a bit different than normal. Everything's placed well, and the build quality is really good. They don't rattle, the sticks return to the center, like all the buttons don't get stuck or anything like that. Like the build quality for me, for my pair that I've been testing here, have been absolutely fine. Like I've been quite impressed by the build quality here. Now I think it goes without saying that these are wired only, so they can only be used on the Switch. Unlike the bin box that have like its own battery and a wireless connection, these do not. So these will only work once they're attached to the Switch. So this is for handheld only, but I can confirm that these fit in the dock. So once these are installed, you can still dock the Switch without any problems. They don't get in the way. And that's with the old dock and the new OLED dock as well. So that's not a problem. We'll come back to battery sort of towards the end. So there's 3 buttons down on the bottom of each sort of Joy-Con as such. And one of those features is turbo. So turbo is effectively, you've got 3 bullets on the actual like controller, and if you press that and then like hold down a button with it, so let's say turbo and B, well then when I hold B and just keep that button depressed, it's going to spam that action over and over and over and over again until I let go. And the other setting is basically pressing it again, so let's say turbo button and B, this time you press it once and let go, and then it will keep doing it until you press it once more to cancel it out. So there's sort of 2 functions there, and if you press turbo and B again, well, it will turn off. And you can do that for both like sides on any button, which is quite nice, other than the plus button, the minus button, the home button, or the screenshot button. You can't use those. So that's the turbo. I didn't really use it that much, to be honest, but I did test it out on both sides and it worked absolutely fine. It worked as advertised, so that's quite good. If you're into turbo, well then it works. Now straight up, I'm gonna say this is probably my biggest annoyance of the whole thing, and it was really a bit disappointing for me, is there are those sort of back paddles on the back of each Joy-Con, and I was like, yes, it's like the Hori split pad, you can remap this to whatever you want. Nope, you cannot remap it to whatever you want. You can in a way, but it's only for macro. So again, those 3 buttons at the bottom there, you've got like a cog wheel. That is for macro, and macro is basically assigning multiple actions to that back paddle. So let's say you wanted to do BBA, right? Well, then you can assign that to the back paddle, and you press it once and it will go through it. If you double press it, well, then it will like repeat it. I didn't really like that. I would rather just have it be an assignable button so that you can just say, okay, I want it to be X instead, or R, or whatever. Just like the Hori split pads, you can just assign that to whatever, and it's not like this macro thing. I don't like the macro. I never used it. It just frustrated me. And if anything, I just forgot that those back paddles were there. Luckily, the way that I grip it, I didn't even really like, I had no issues with pressing it by accident. I probably pressed it by accident twice in the probably like 3 weeks I've been using these. So, it's not a big deal, but I didn't really like that feature. It might be for you, it ain't for me. It's a bit of a letdown. Okay, next up is Rumble. Now, I love Rumble. No matter what Rumble it is, I love all kinds of Rumble. But this one in particular was just a nice addition, because what really annoyed me about like the Hori Split Pad Pros, or just third-party controllers in general that don't have Rumble, loads of games just feel way more immersive if there's Rumble, and these have Rumble. You've got 4 settings. You've got like 0, then you've got 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. Now, I would say above 25%, or even 50% is just too much. Like, it's way too overpowering. It's really loud, and it's just like the whole thing is shaking in your hand. It's quite funny. It's good to have. If you want intense Rumble, these have it. But for me, anything more than 50% was just overkill. And to be fair, even on the lowest setting, 25%, I found that was enough. It was enough to feel like more immersed, and it is quite nice Rumble. It's not bad Rumble, I would say that. It's not HD Rumble like the official Joy-Cons, but it is quite nice Rumble. I really like that rumble feature. And to change that on each Joy-Con, there's a little button on the far right or the far left, depending on which one you're looking at. And you press that to sort of adjust the rumble for each controller. So you could have one off and one at like 100% if you really wanted to. But overall, I actually really liked the addition of the rumble. Now, another thing which is overlooked by loads of third-party sort of controllers, especially Joy-Cons, especially the Hori, is the 6-axis gyro, so motion controls. So there's so many games that need motion controls, like certain Mario games and even Pokemon Arceus, which I've been playing to death recently, right? You can use motion controls in that. Now, I'm fine without motion controls, but if it needs it, well then it's really nice to have it there. Now, I turned on motion controls on Pokemon Arceus because it's off by default, just to test these out. And oh, it was so nice being able to sort of like critically aim with the like gyro with the motion controls instead, and it just felt so nice having that sort of feature there, because Christina's got a PowerA controller and I've got those Hori split pads, and they don't have any features whatsoever, like at all, and the lack of gyro really is annoying. But these having gyro, and it works well, like the gyro was absolutely fine. I didn't have any jittering, I didn't have it like throwing me off center or anything like that. It just worked as intended, so gyro gets a thumbs up from me. Okay, so the joysticks, so this has ALPS esports joysticks on it, and they look lovely, you know, especially on the white with that like red joystick base. They're really nice to look at. The sort of end is got like a satin rubber on it, and it feels really nice. For me, with medium-sized hands, like it feels lovely under the thumb. They always return to center. They're not like off angle or anything like that. They feel really nice, but I would say there is a bit of a con here, is this is way more aimed at like casual players, I would say, because there is a slight dead zone. Now, it's not massive, and to be fair, when you go into the calibrate controllers and go to the joystick area, you can't even really notice it that much. Like there's a bit of dead zone, which you're probably seeing right now. There's a tiny bit of dead zone, but not like massively. But then in certain games, you can tell you have to like move the joystick just a bit more to like get it to actually work, and that was a little bit frustrating. So the Hori Split Pad Pros, yeah, they're more accurate. So if you're wanting like FPS game controllers, like if you want to play Doom or if you want to play like Splatoon and be like competitive or whatever, don't buy these. Just don't, because there is a bit of a dead zone. For me personally, just casually playing stuff, I loved it. Like they're fine. Like again, they feel really nice. There's a lovely resistance there. Like the motion is good. They don't stick. Like everything is fine with these joysticks, but there's that tiny bit of dead zone. So if you're a casual player, 100%, these are great. If you're like fancy yourself as a bit of an esports player, just yeah, probably don't get these. Okay, let's not miss out the D-pad. So the D-pad is really nice. I'm a big fan of this D-pad, like quite a big fan of this D-pad, at least on the model that I've got. It's got a nice sort of firmness to it, but it's not too hard. It's not overly mushy. It rolls around really nicely. It resets back to center really good. It's got a nice concave sort of like feel to it. It's a very nice D-pad on a Joy-Con alternative, and I would say it's probably the best D-pad alternative on a Joy-Con alternative. I actually prefer this one over the Hori Split Pad Pro one. It's just, you know, it just feels nice to me. And I played like Streets of Rage, well, mainly Streets of Rage on this, but you know, for me, I really like this D-pad. I reckon if you're a D-pad lover, then this is probably going to be all right for you. Okay, so now this is a controversial, you know what I'm trying to say. This may not be to your liking, but it is to mine. The buttons are mechanical. So normal controllers, pretty much every controller has membrane, like silicone buttons. So they always feel a little bit mushy, but it's okay. Like they bounce back quick enough and stuff like that. This has mechanical switches, just like a mouse. So like a mouse left and right click, they have mechanical switches or a side button on the mouse. Often keyboards do as well, but it's way more like a mouse mechanical switch. And if I sort of let you hear it now with the microphone, all the buttons are mechanical switches. So the triggers, so ZL, L, ZR, R, A, X, Y, and B are all mechanical switches, and what I really like about it is they're all using the same switch, so they feel consistent. Every single button press is the same because they're all using the same switch, and I really enjoy that. Now, some might not like that sound that you've just heard because they're clicky like a mouse. So if you're wanting dead silence, or if you've got like kind of a thing with sounds where they bug you, this may not be for you. But in terms of feel, the first time I used them in that unboxing video, like the first look that we did, I was a bit like, oh, well, these are weird. But like over time using them, oh, they're lovely. They spring back straight away. You know you've pressed it because you hear that click and you can feel the actuation of the, like, you know, of the switch actually moving. It just feels really nice to me. I really enjoy these buttons. I hope more controllers sort of implement this, and they're meant to have longer lifespan. Now, I'm not too sure how long membrane switches last, because I just don't know. Like, I need to look it up. But I know for sure that normal switches like this, like mechanical switches, can be anywhere between 20 to 70 million click lifespan. But MOBAPAD are saying that this is a bigger lifespan than membrane switches. I'm not too sure if they're like true on that, but you're gonna get a long time out of these, like a long usage out of these, and they feel really nice in my opinion. If you prefer the mushiness and the silence of a membrane switch, again, these are not going to be for you, but for me, I'm really happy with these like mechanical switches here. I feel like they're really nice. Now, the other buttons are not mechanical switches. They're like the plus, the minus, the screenshot, the home, and then all these sort of like function buttons underneath, but they are still nice and clicky. So if I sort of like let you hear these, ready? So overall, I absolutely love the mechanical buttons. I love the gyro. I love the rumble. I even like the sticks. I know there's a little bit of a dead zone, so that's kind of like a in-between thing. Like I just like the feel, the resistance, the feel of the actual sticks, the like concave area where your thumb rests on. You don't find yourself slipping off or anything like that. I do like the sticks, but there is that sort of like other side, is that there's a little bit of dead zone. So if you're not a casual player, don't buy these at all. But if you're casual, you probably won't even notice, since, you know, like if you just played on these and I didn't tell you about dead zone, you probably wouldn't even realize. But you know, if you're someone that's like cautious of dead zone, don't get these. And the other thing is battery. So the battery, there is no internal batteries on these Joy-Cons, so it's sucking all the power out of your Switch to power these. So let's say you've got gyro enabled, you've got rumble at 100%, you're using turbo, like that kind of thing, and the macro buttons, right? You're gonna drain your battery much quicker. Now, me using 25% rumble and not really using the turbo or macro at all, well, I didn't get a massive drain, but obviously it's more like it does drain the power of your Switch quicker than if you were using Joy-Cons or say the Binbox ones, which have internal batteries, because, well, there's no batteries in these, so it's going to drain your Switch faster. Did I notice it? Did I notice in my standard playtime that I had to charge more often? No. But like I said, I almost was having rumble at 0, so 25%, so it almost wasn't even really on. And I wasn't really using the other features as much either. So I didn't really notice as much of a drain as some of you that might want to like max out all the features on this. And to be fair, I've got pretty much a brand new OLED, so the battery's nice and strong on there as well. So I didn't notice the drain that much, but I can tell you that there will be a bigger drain. There just absolutely will be, because there's no internal batteries on these. So do expect the battery life to go down a bit quicker. Now, the other thing, obviously, is that macro button on the back. I hate that. Like, I just don't like it at all. Just get rid of it, or make it so it's just an assignable button. So, you know, like, it's kind of frustrating for me. So the dead zone, the macro button on the back, didn't like, but I really like the mechanical switches, the gyro, the rumble, and just the overall design and the faceplates and stuff, you know? Like, I really like these, and it's such a shame that there's some letdowns. It feels like every Joy-Con alternative, there are letdowns. You know, there's pluses, like pros, and then there's cons, and it's trying to find that right balance for you. And for me, I can live with the sort of annoyances here, because I won't use those macro buttons on the back. And, well, the dead zone thing, I'm just playing casually most of the time, handheld, so that's not a big deal. I really like these a lot. So I would 100% say if you're a casual player, definitely check these out. If you're like an esports or like serious gamer, probably don't bother, probably get the Hori instead. So let's just go over price really quickly. These are around 35 to 40 pounds. You can only buy these on AliExpress, so make sure you do your research, because that's a kind of like eBay for Asia. So you've got to look at the sellers, look at the reviews, and really make sure that you know what you're doing. And I'd advise that you use like a credit card that might have some sort of safety protection on there, just in case you buy from a dodgy seller. Just, be wary of what you're doing, because they're only available on AliExpress. So, they're around 30 to 40 pounds, 35 to 40 pounds, whereas the Hori SplitPad Pros, for example, because they're the closest to these really, they're around the same price as well, and you can find them pretty much everywhere, and the Horis are officially licensed. So do with that as you will. But of course, I will probably do an in-depth sort of comparison between these and the Hori SplitPad Pro, so make sure you stick around for that. Okay, it's the time you've all been waiting for, the giveaway. So obviously we are giving away the black ones. So we're going to be giving these away to one of you lucky lot. So make sure you go down into the comments, drop a comment saying whatever you want, preferably, Andy, we love you. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I always like that, all right? But just comment what you want in the description or in the pinned comment. There will be a link to Gleam where you can get extra entries for free. I will let you know in the pinned comment and in the description when the giveaway entry ends too. So I hope you've enjoyed our in-depth look at the M6 Gemini by MOBAPAD. Let me know what you think of these. Are you going to buy some? Are you not? Are you going to try and win our competition? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see some other Joy-Con alternatives, well then somewhere over here, is it this way? I think it's this way. Somewhere over here will be a link to a video where you can watch our Binbok transparent Joy-Con alternative review, and I highly recommend that you go and check that out, because I think you'll like it. If you're looking for Joy-Con alternatives and stuff like that, go watch this video. Just do it. Bye.